So have you never been to a foreign country, never had a passport? Well, if that describes you, then stay tuned, because in this video, we're going to go through all the steps involved in getting your very first passport. Well, you might be asking yourself, why even get a passport to begin with? Well, I'll give you four good reasons. First is if you want to fly to a foreign country like Italy or France or what have you, you're going to need a passport book. And this is because when you get to the foreign country, the immigration officials are going to need a place to put their stamp. That gives you a certain length of time in the country. They'll affix a stamp into your passport book and write in the number of days you're allowed. And usually it's 90 days for most countries for U.S. citizens. Mexico gives you 180 days, which is wonderful. So that's the first reason. Another reason is if you want to take a sea cruise, you want to go from, say, Miami to the Bahamas or Jamaica, you'll need a passport. If you want to drive or walk into Mexico or Canada from the U.S., you'll need a passport. And finally, if you want residency in another country, you'll definitely need a passport because you're going to need an official form of ID and you need a place for them, immigration, to put your residence visa or your work visa in your passport. The things on this list, you technically could do them all with just your birth certificate and your state driver's license, but having a passport makes everything faster and more efficient for you, especially when you return to the United States. Immigration still needs to verify that you are a U.S. citizen. Passport's the fastest and best way to do it. Otherwise, they'll have to vet your birth certificate, look at your driver's license, make sure they're the real McCory, everything is legit, and that could take some time. So those are the reasons. They're all very good ones. As I mentioned, there's a passport book and then there's a passport card. The image on this slide is the passport book. It has something like 25 plus pages. It allows for international travel by air, land, and sea. It's $130 right now. The passport card is about the size of a credit card or your driver's license. It allows for domestic air travel in the U.S. It also allows for international land and sea travel between the USA, Canada, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Bermuda. But it's not valid for international air travel, and that's because, as I mentioned previously, immigration needs a place to affix their stamp, and they can't do that with your passport card. It's got to be a passport book for international flights. I say just get both. It's worth the extra cost. And the nice thing is, it's 2025 now, and Real ID is becoming mandatory nationwide. And most people, myself included, my state driver's license isn't Real ID compliant, but I'm not going to worry about that because I already have a passport book and a passport card. The passport card is Real ID compliant. In fact, passports that are issued now in the U.S. have electronic chips inside them that makes it easier for them to be scanned at a port of entry by NFC, I believe is how it's done. You obviously can't do those things with a birth certificate and a driver's license. All right, now moving on to the first step in this process is you're going to need to get your hands on your birth certificate. It needs to be issued by a state or county government. And you'll know because the birth certificate will have an official seal or stamp from the county or state government that issued it to you. First place I would look is your parents, your next of kin, if they're available. If that's an option, they might still have yours. If not, you can go to your state's vital records office and order it directly from them. The way to do it is just go on Google and do a search like New Mexico vital records or New Mexico birth certificates. Either one of those queries should lead you in the right direction. Obviously, I don't have the time in this video to go through the procedures for all 50 states. It's something obviously you have to do on your end. And finally, there is a third option called Vital Check. They're an independent company that contracts with state governments to provide birth certificates, death certificates, things like that to the general public. I did give them a try a year or two ago when I wanted to get my birth certificate, and it didn't work out for me. For some unknown reason, all the ID I uploaded, my driver's license, my passport card, my passport book, I uploaded all those to Vital Check and they weren't accepted for some reason. I don't know why. So I gave up on that and just visited my mom, spent quality time with her, got my birth certificate that way. But Vital Check is an option. Next thing is, once you've ordered your birth certificate and you got it or it's on its way, I say you should get your passport photos taken next. You can go to any Walgreens, CVS, or AAA. They're nationwide. You just tell them you're applying for your passport and you need passport photos and they'll take care of you. But usually, I think it's about $20. It might be a little bit more, but definitely inexpensive. And another tip is if you're thinking about residency in another country like I am, then it's probably a good idea to get extra passport photos taken because you'll need official photos for your residence visa. And so might as well get it done while you're there. Kill two birds with the same stone. And now that you got your passport photos, you should go and fill out the Form DS-11 on the U.S. State Department website. And this document here is a PDF, and this is a link to travel.state.gov. If you click on this link here, you'll go to the State Department's passport page. You see, URL is right here. It's a fairly long one, but travel.state.gov will take you here, and then you just click on this link, adult applying for the first time. That's you. And there's a list of steps involved in this process, which I'm basically going through in this video for you. There's a video by the State Department that explains the passport process in more detail. But all you need to do is go down. Step 1 is confirm you meet the requirements. You've never had a passport before. You're an adult. That should be it. So we won't address that here. We'll just go straight to step 2. Fill out your form and print it. Use our form filler tool. Form filler, you click on that button. And just the disclaimer, you check this little box. Right now you're at pptform.state.gov. Check the box, hit submit. And it takes you to, okay, here it is. This is the form filler tool. And then all you got to do is just scroll down here. Fill out online and print. You can fill out the following forms. This is a DS-11, so you just click on submit. And these are the instructions. And here you put in your personal information here. I'm obviously not going to do that in my case. To make sure this is all complete and accurate to the best of your knowledge, just click on next. So that's the passport completion filling out process there. Okay, now we move along to the part where you submit your application and pay the fees. Now, once you get your birth certificate back in the mail, you're going to need to make a copy of it. And you're also going to take your driver's license and photocopy both sides of it. And then print out the Form DS-11 if you haven't already, but make sure you don't sign it yet, because you're going to sign it in person at the passport acceptance facility. So now, when you're applying for your first passport with the Form DS-11, there are 2 fees that you're going to have to pay. There's an application fee and an acceptance fee. The application fee goes to the U.S. State Department, and the acceptance fee goes to the facility that takes your application in person. The passport book is $130. The passport card is $30. That's $160. Acceptance fee is $35. So that's $195 plus. If you want expedited service, it's another $60. So your total cost maxes out at $255. That's for the card and the book and expedited service, and of course the acceptance fee. And then if you click on this link here in this PDF, it gives you a way to find out where your nearest acceptance facility is. This is the search page, iafdb.travel.state.gov, if you could remember that. And then you just punch here, 85716, closest 10 facilities, that's plenty. And if you need handicap access, or some passport facilities might have a place where they can get your photos taken right there on site. Or there might be a place nearby that does passport photos. So just click on search. And here's my list right here. There's all 10 of them in order of distance by miles. UA Passports is the University of Arizona's passport acceptance facility. And that's a great option. You have post offices, you have county courthouses. I got my first passport in 2015. I went to the Maricopa County Superior Courthouse to get it done there. But you have plenty of options. There's the court, there's community colleges, post offices, municipal courts, universities. Those are all good options. And so you're going to have to investigate each one differently, find out what their operating hours are, what form of payment they take. That's researching you have to do on your end. Finally, the next part is to pay. You have to pay for the application and handling fees. Usually you submit a check. It could be a personal check, certified check, cashier's check, traveler's checks, or a money order. And all it's got to be payable to the U.S. Department of State. I remember I did a money order when I did my first passport. And then the acceptance fee depends on the acceptance facility itself. You'll need to contact them ahead of time. They might be on the web, or you might need to make a phone call and get that done. After you pay everything in person, you're going to submit the Form DS-11. You're going to sign it in front of the agent. You have your original and photocopy birth certificate, and then you've got your photocopy driver's license, and plus your 2 passport photos. Those will all go together with the application that you turn in person and pay the fees, the 2 fees. Now, getting your stuff back, it should take a few weeks. The first thing I got back was my birth certificate. That came in the mail. And then my passport card came next, and then the passport book after that. Altogether, if you select just standard routine process nowadays, it should take 4 to 6 weeks for all the processing. That does not include mailing. You'll want to add about a week for mailing. And if you go the route of expedited processing, that'll cut the time in half, down to 2 or 3 weeks for the $60 additional you have to pay. That's a personal choice. You have to decide for yourself if you want to spend the extra money and get your passport back quicker. But be that as it may, in any case, your passport, once you get it, it will expire 10 years from the date of issue minus 1 day. So if you get your passport on April 1st, 2025, it'll expire March 31st, 2035. And one final note about passports, most countries will need at least 6 months of validity left on your passport in order to grant you entry. So if you have a passport that expires like in a week, you basically have an expired passport. No country will let you in. It's just too soon. Once you have a year left on your passport, then I recommend renewing it. And that's a different process I'll address in a different video. But that's everything, all there is involved. Hope you got a lot out of this video, a lot of value from it. Get your passport and go see the world. You owe it to yourself.